Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 48 of my PySimpleGUI lessons. In today's video, we are going to talk about progress bars. There are many ways to make progress bars, but I will show you two common ones. One is just called sg.oneLineProgressMeter, and the other is called sg.ProgressBar. Let's start with the one-line progress meter. So we start by importing a library we've never used before. It's called time. This will allow us to simulate actually running a program. PySimpleSG. And then we don't need to do layouts and closing windows and all of that. All we need is a for loop that loops 100 times, because we want to set the tick number of our progress bar to be 100. And then before every single renewal of the progress bar, we can pause for 1.1 seconds. That's all we need to do with the time library. And then we do sg.oneLineProgressMeter. Okay, so I'll show you some properties. 5 of the most common ones. We start with title, which we can just name progress bar. And then there's the current value, which since we are in a for loop, we can just do the variable here, which is I plus 1, because for the range it starts with 0 and goes to 99. We want it to go from 1 to 100, so we add 1 to every single I. And then we can also do max value here. We're gonna set max value as 100 because the loop is also 100. And then since we don't need the key, we can just we might need keys in other more complex codes, so I'll show you, but for this lesson we only need key. We don't really need it, so we can just do key equals key. And then orientation, this is like how the progress bar loads. For this, we can make it horizontal by doing H. Let's run this to see. So for this is the percent done, and this is like seconds and time, and this is horizontal over here. We can also change horizontal into vertical if you want. We can do this, and now it loads this way. But everything else is still the same. But if you look at how complicated this is. So we can use our second type of progress bar. This type, it's simpler and it's more customizable. We don't need time this time. We can just do Python simple GUI as SG, and then this one needs layout and closing windows and all of that. So we do layout equals we can throw in a text element at the top. So that's just says progress bar, and it'll show on top of the progress bar. And then we can do sg.progressBar. For this, the S and B are capital. And then inside here, we can do some of the properties. We can start with max value. We can set max value as 1000. This is how many ticks there are for the progress bar. And then orientation. This is the same as last time. We can start with making it horizontal, and we can change it later to see how it works. And then size. We can also change this later. This is just 20 and 20 now. And we need the key for this, so we need to remember we called this progress bar. And then we make the and then we make the window. Window equals sg.window progress bar and then layout. But for this, instead of an event loop that goes on infinitely, all we need is an for I in range 1000 loop. So the 1000 is how many ticks we need in the progress bar. And then we do what we normally do, event and values, and we assign this read. And then for this, we're gonna add another property. It's called timeout. This is between every single time we do window.read, it'll pause for that many milliseconds. And remember, this isn't seconds, this is milliseconds. So it pauses for 10 milliseconds before it continues to the next line, which is, oh yeah, we also want to do if event is none, then break. This is to do so if we X the whole window, then it'll actually stop. And then we do window, and then for the key here, this is progress bar. And then we can update it. Normally we just do .update, but this is a progress bar, so there's a individual thing for it. It's called update bar with capital U's and capital B. And then we, same as last time, we do I plus 1 inside the brackets. And then don't forget to add the window.close, or else the window won't close. Let's run this to see. Okay, as you can tell, this is a lot more simple and a lot more customizable. You can add other things down here and stuff. So we can change some of the properties to see how they work. For example, if we set the size to 30 and 30, you'll see how the whole progress bar gets bigger. See, now the whole thing gets bigger. But it still takes the same amount of time to do the 1000 clicks. It's just every single tick, it's like moves faster. And then if you want to make it longer, you just have to change this one. We can change it to like 200 even. Okay, maybe 100 actually. So this is like really long now. But we can also change the orientation here. If we don't want it horizontal, we can make it vertical. So for vertical, instead of H, it'll be V. But this would pop out of the screen, so let's change it back to 30 and 30. Okay. So this way, it goes up now, so yeah. If we want to change how much there are, you can change the max value. Like, say we want it at 200. But don't forget to change this to this is just slower, but it still goes the same amount. It's just every single tick it moves really slowly. As you can tell, it takes a long time. If you want it to go faster, you can change the timeout here into like 5, and it'll just zoom up. Alright, that concludes this lesson. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson. And remember, learning at work for tuition is easier than addition.